tuning in to the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads from over 200 countries and your #1 source in after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another AfterBuzz After Show for NXT. We're coming in with the Hobbit theme song. Why? Because, well, now we're not.
Never mind.
We were. Because that was what they were chanting for Adrian Neville.
Adrian Neville, not really so favorable in the eyes of the people.
Well,
Corn this week.
his morals are questionable, but we will talk about that later on the show. First off, introductions. I'm Kathy Kelly, sitting across from me, as always. Who's first?
I don't know.
Yes,
You're hosting.
correct. Once on second, I don't know's on third.
Wise on third?
Third base.
I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh. I don't know.
Anybody? Kids? Anybody?
Abbott and Costello,
Anybody?
duh.
No, I don't know the class.
Very much, but does anybody else know who they were existed?
What?
I'm so...
Mark Donica!
We're here, Internet. We're here. We just got done.
We are doing another show. We were just doing a show, and now we're doing another show.
I was doing a show too.
Yeah,
were you doing?
she
We
was
were
in
doing
here.
shows.
What were you doing?
I was doing Untold for Marie Menounos.
She did Untold, and then we watched NXT while she was doing that.
So many shows.
And then we did Epic Meal Empire, and now we're all doing NXT.
It's like this is a network.
We're a family, is what I'm
So
trying
many
to say.
shows.
Right.
Another member of our family.
Also the hobo.
True hobo.
BT Dubs, hobo.
I'm like that cousin who mooches off of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like that. A lot like that.
You
Yeah.
just take the free drinks,
Yep.
free popcorn, and you leave us.
Yep. That's sweet.
yeah.
No, that's actually, that's accurate.
Mooch.
He used to take out all the extra popcorn at the end of the night when we did Legends House, and it's like you were just keeping it for the next week.
I'd stuff it in all my pockets.
Hides it.
I'd like to look kind of puffy.
Leftovers.
But literally, I'm wearing a puffy jacket, only on the inside it's all popcorn.
Works.
Yeah.
Insulation too.
Yeah.
In the
Not
winter.
so much, though.
You don't need it right now.
No.
We've got a heat wave going on in LA.
hot. It's actually cooled down today. I was happy to see that. Yeah.
Very nice. Your championship belts are looking mighty shiny this week.
Yeah, Harriet is always looking good.
Yeah.
She's a pretty lady.
We need a name for the PPW Championship.
I don't know.
Pixie.
Pixie?
Pixie.
I like the Pixies.
Yeah,
Heck
let's
of a
go
band.
Pixie. Let's go Pixie.
Pixie. Pixie and Harriet.
Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
So NXT.
NXT. Let's get
Right,
into
sure.
this week's episode. We start off with none other than Titus O'Neil. He comes out and is mad at NXT stars for taking over on Raw last
His
week.
show.
I mean, it's his show.
Yeah.
And
Funny, though, he doesn't seem to win a whole lot on his show. Which
yeah.
was really aptly pointed out by Sami Zayn.
Well, yeah, Sammy comes out and he says that while Titus is on the main roster, he's just getting beat up by the bunny, not doing much else, and he's just mad that the NXT crew stole the show.
I'd be mad too.
Titus says he's going to steal the show tonight by giving Sami Zayn the beating of a lifetime. Then Adrian Neville comes out and says he's the only one who can defend NXT because he is the champion right now.
Some sort of self-anointed savior, as it were.
So after this, Tyson Kidd comes out. Well, after Neville and Zayn bicker a little bit. But Tyson Kidd comes out and says Sammy is just bummed about how Neville retained his championship last week at TakeOver. Zayn says he's not mad, but from a moral standpoint, that's not what he would have done. And then Neville says, well, that's why you'll never be champ.
People were not happy about that.
No.
Sami Zayn right now is in the wonderful position of being the people's champion. He has no belt to show for it, but everybody else says he deserves it.
He does.
Arguably he does.
Yeah.
If the NXT had a Intercontinental Championship, because that is sort of the status of the workhorse, Sammy would carry that with pride before having the actual championship.
What about an internet championship? Can we institute an internet championship down there?
I would 100% love an internet champion.
Come on, let's get on it.
They're afraid to dethrone Zack Ryder.
Well, he does have the belt.
Yeah, they have to make their own.
They just have to put tape over his name, because I think it's one of those situations where his name is etched into it.
It's his face.
Oh yeah. Well, that's okay.
Yeah. Who else would be a contender for it?
Really, they would just defend it online. It would be an exclusive title for WWE.com and
YouTube,
they don't have to call it an internet champion. They could call it a network champion.
A network champion. Something like that. Where it's defended between all of the network shows. So Titus does show up a little bit more on Main Event and Superstars, and he would carry that belt all the way down to NXT and those up there. So you would have a reason to watch those shows, and then it would come back into play on the pay-per-views where it would be defended as well.
So somebody could carry it around on the television shows, pay-per-views and whatnot, and then they wouldn't defend it there. They'd actually defend it only on network-related things.
Arguably, though, the NXT championship is kind of the network championship.
Yeah, I give that.
Sort of.
In the U.S., we only get it on the network.
It's not defended on anywhere else but NXT.
But like a traveling inter-show championship.
Okay.
As opposed to just on NXT.
Okay.
This was I liked this segment though. Speaking of Titus, always been a fan of Titus, and he was mentioning it while we were watching. It's really hard to think of Titus as a bad guy, like really, because he's such a genuine good person. And he's just a nice guy. He's like the Miz, where anytime the Miz does a promotional piece, he's always just like, yeah, do this thing where I'm a professional wrestler. I'm the Miz. It's working out pretty well. I'm a big fan of everybody I work with. But Titus just is. He's just a different type of super nice guy. I can't see that Father's Day promotion that they did and then go, oh, what a jerk. No, what happened? What about his kids?
And one of my favorite things that he's ever done was that Michael Strahan impression. That was great.
No, yeah, he's
likable. He's just too likable. Overly likable. He's won humanitarian awards. He befriended a homeless man when they were in SummerSlam, in LA for SummerSlam. He was jealous. Befriended a homeless man and fed him, and now they're buddies. It's ridiculous how nice this guy is. I cannot take him seriously. How do you hate him? Is it possible?
Yeah.
Slater Gator.
But speaking of Titus, he's about to make a statement when William Regal comes out, the newly appointed GM of NXT. And he says, "This is a fighting show, not a whining show. We're going to have a fight tonight."
Classic Regal.
Damn right. That guy, he's a put up or shut up kind of guy.
He's great.
Beyond.
So good.
Beyond.
So tonight on commentary, we have Rich Brennan, Renee Young, and Alex Riley. They mention Hideo Itami's debut last week, or where he was introduced to the NXT universe, and now they say tonight is his in-ring debut. You excited for that?
Beyond.
Yeah.
Of course. Everybody's a buzz. You know, you hear so many great things. This is the first time seeing a guy who is internationally known. Your wrestler's favorite wrestler is now going to be on this show. People were vibrating with anticipation.
The crowd was excited. For sure.
The crowd was actually really hot tonight for the whole show, and coming straight off of the pay-per-view coming straight off of the show with
the event.
Yeah, with the event with the tape.
Yeah.
It came through the screen, and like there were the Darren Young chants during Titus's promo at the top, and even more throughout Hideo's match, Charlotte's, like through the whole show.
The main event. Yeah.
There was a lot of really good stuff going on, and the show sort of benefited from that in some places.
They were hyped and they stayed hyped.
I wouldn't say that.
Oh.
I wouldn't say that, especially now.
No.
Well, let's talk about the women's match, Emma versus Charlotte. Charlotte ended up winning with the natural selection. What do you guys think of this match? I mean, this is the first time where we've really seen Emma in a little bit.
At NXT, anyway.
Well,
anywhere.
Yeah. No, she does the second show. She does main event and Superstars very infrequently.
Yeah.
But it's still sooner and a little bit closer from when we saw her at from NXT show to NXT show. And this match,
it was not as well received as we would have hoped. It wasn't necessarily executed as well as we would have hoped, but there was sort of a lot going on as far as like an internal story in this match. That I found kind of interesting. I mean, just right off the bat, you see Emma and Charlotte sort of getting in each other's faces. Charlotte actually takes time out to go and tell somebody to get her the belt and brings the belt in just to remind Emma who she is, that she is lucky enough to be in there with the women's champion right now. And what does Emma do? She knocks the belt out of her hand.
Yeah.
That is an interesting statement. Usually you attack the person who is in your face, not the object that they have. It's sort of, it's you can question what that means in several ways. I mean, it either means that she doesn't believe the championship is legitimate, or the individual holding the championship is a legitimate champion.
I mean, Emma's supposed to be that happy-go-lucky, you know, just dance it off.
Well, she was kind of just laughing at her, like, you're taking this way too seriously, we're here for a match, sort of a thing. And the crowd was super hot on it, and chanting Emma, like, welcome back, Emma, 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 oi, 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 the classics. All of our favorite stuff. And then it got really quiet in the middle and towards the end of it.
Why do you think that is?
I think because of the couple of slip-ups.
And I think they wanted to see more from Emma than what they got. They wanted to see a little bit more shine from her in the beginning, because it's good to see her again, but you need to have that reminder of why she is who she is and why everybody loves her so much. So I think they made the mistake of relying on the fact that she's back and everybody will be happy that she's back, and Charlotte just kind of chopped her right down, right from the beginning. And I think that Emma should have definitely given a little bit more to Charlotte.
Yeah. I would also say, I mean, Charlotte probably didn't have as much time to prepare for this, since she was more focused on TakeOver. And when did they tape this? The following Friday. So, 24 hours later, back in the ring.
Everybody seemed a little tired.
Yeah.
And who the hell can blame
understandably.
them?
No, the shows after at least the first one after the events have been just like, let's take this one slow, everybody. Let's take this one slow. We'll put a couple of people out first to kind of get everybody back up, feeling it, but
that's also practice for being on the main roster when you have that high intensity schedule where you know, if you are the champ, you would be potentially wrestling, you know, the live shows Friday, Saturday, then doing a pay-per-view Sunday, then taping Raw Monday, then
SmackDown Tuesday,
and main event Tuesday. So you got to be ready for it. And
no, then it's it hasn't really been shown too much. It hasn't shown through, I should say, how tired they should be. But this match was just, it was odd. There were just a couple of odd places. When Charlotte went up for the moonsault, and it made it very obvious that Emma was supposed to grab her left leg, because she kept kind of letting it dangle. But once Emma grabbed her right leg because she was close enough, and that seemed like the more realistic thing to go after, Charlotte was still just kind of dangling her left leg, like, grab it. And it was weird. It was an odd choice where it was just like, okay, here we are, just go with it, as opposed to something else that happened later in a different match. This one was just like, oh, it was supposed to be like that, even though it was something so small and so minor.
Yeah.
And that's where there really is a problem. If something happens and you can tell that it was not intended, then that is a problem.
Yeah.
But if everything's going well, even if something happens that wasn't supposed to happen, if you can't tell, man, that's a good night.
Yeah. Next up, we have Justin Gabriel versus the debuting Hideo Itami.
A little bit of a refreshed look, even though it's only been like a month or so since we've seen Justin Gabriel. They took the like the motorcycle pants sort of look and made it. They kind of streamlined it and made it look a little bit better. He seemed a little bit cleaner. It wasn't.
Alex Riley seemed so excited to do his intro too. Did you notice that? He was like just off, like.
He's just like
one thing after the other.
Guy's
so amped, yeah.
He's a crocodile snake wrestler.
Like, do you mind if I take this?
Like, guys, you could have any other thing, but just let me have this segment, please. Sure. Alex, I mean, whatever.
Go for it.
But it was weird seeing Gabriel come out and play to the crowd. I mean, granted, it's been a little while since everybody's seen him, but the last time they saw him, he wasn't necessarily your good guy.
He was a jerk.
He was teaming up with Tyson Kidd.
I know.
Right?
Tournament.
Right, he's the biggest. One of his friends is one of the biggest jerks right now in NXT, and he's fighting
the biggest jerk.
He's fighting Hideo Itami, who is incredibly hot and debuting tonight. Don't play to the audience. The audience does not want to see you. If anything, give the audience the finger because they aren't going to be giving you a damn thing tonight.
It could be his cocky side though, like, oh, everyone's here for me.
Yeah,
because I'm on the main roster, and this guy hasn't even debuted yet.
I'm the one who gets to fight him first.
It should be one of those things. He gets the mic and says, "Wow, how lucky is Hideo Itami that he gets to fight me?"
Yeah. Let's break down everything about Hideo's first match. First up, what do you think of his entrance in general and everything? Music, yeah.
Good music.
Like it?
Intensity.
Yeah.
And I think that is what Hideo brings to the ring, is a level of intensity that is second to none.
But speaking of his music, is he from Japan?
No, I don't think so. Not originally.
Then I mean,
he's from American Samoa.
It's very confusing. There's just a thing that they have with their Japanese wrestlers where they go, let's put a shamisen in there, or like something where it's just like, yep, they're Japanese. Where as opposed to it's just give them
easy branding, maybe.
No, man, it's not so obvious.
It's
racism.
Subtle. It's very subtle. Not true. It is not subtle at all. Yeah. But the entrance was fine. A lot of high energy.
It works.
I mean, there's a type. In wrestling as a whole, there are types of wrestlers. And all of the Japanese wrestlers get treated as that type. They are Japanese wrestlers, therefore they fit into this mold, and this is what they do with Japanese wrestlers and how they present them.
I thought it was interesting. I noticed on social media that he has his Twitter handle is Hideo Itami, but his name is still
his real name.
Kenta.
It's Kenta Kobayashi, his full birth name.
Yeah.
I think that's actually smarter. Because people are going to be looking for Kenta, not realizing that he has changed his name. So it's actually bringing more people in. Oh, well, here's Kenta, but he's going by Hideo Itami.
Yeah.
Maybe at some point.
It's a worm on a hook, you know?
But also, speaking of that, I didn't hear any Kenta chants or Let's Go Kenta. It was just Hideo. So like,
luckily they picked a name with 3 syllables.
Do you think that actually was going on in the crowd, or that's something that was dubbed over? Because we do know that. Okay.
We saw a shot of a close up of some people, and you could see them saying Hideo.
It's because they respect Kenta, and Kenta changed
the one
Kenta's
that said it,
name. He actually made the announcement, which actually maybe that is better.
We were talking about that last week, whether that worked or not, and I think that it did.
Right. I mean, I didn't really think of that angle before, but him changing his name makes everybody else get on board.
It doesn't seem like WWE did it for him.
It's not a corporate choice, it's a personal choice, or it seems on that part.
Yeah.
And they're more likely to bite that way.
Yeah.
And we did also get a little bit of nugget of information that Funaki is back in the WWE, just sort of as his consult.
His mentor
sort of a thing, just to kind of help him adjust to the WWE style. They didn't say that, but help him adjust to America and the American style of wrestling, but it's just really helping him go, all right, so here's how we do this in WWE, as opposed, here's how I know how you're going to do it in Japan. This is how we do it in Japan, but let me show you how we do it here, just to kind of ease his transition, to keep the style that made him popular, but how to tweak it and make it work for a wider WWE audience.
I always find it odd, or I guess it's just more challenging for how do wrestlers that, if you're wrestling someone who speaks a different language, and they're their Japanese is the language that they speak. Like, how do you call things in the match, like during the match?
Now, Hideo has got a larger grasp of the English language that a lot of other wrestlers do. But when it comes to calling things with somebody who doesn't speak English, you go with similar things. Like if you're going to do like something that is what a more popular wrestler does, you'll basically call it that. You know, like Ring of the Dragon is that would be an arm drag. If Undertaker would be the tombstone or the choke slam, and it would be basically that with a series of movements dictating what it is that is intended, also with the words.
But it's obviously much more challenging. Or it could be.
We're all professionals. Yeah. That's the thing. We're all professionals. We are all working on our craft, and we are all more or less familiar with the same things. So you try and work it out as best you can.
Yeah. I don't think that they had much of a problem tonight. What do you think of the match overall?
Well, Kenta's style is a pretty simple style.
My style is kick.
He kicks you in the face. That is what he does. And he did a hell of a lot of that tonight.
Like we started taking notes, and then it was a lot of the basic headlock, keeping him down, and then when the leapfrog started, and it was leap kick up.
Yeah. I mean,
here we are.
Yep.
Hideo did his leapfrog quite well, but then flipped it around, and Gabriel went for a leapfrog himself. Nope. No. Boy, Hideo fed him that foot real well.
Square in the jaw.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Knocked Gabriel out of the ring. Just out.
Just there was a lot of good stuff that happened, and what I was mentioning in the Charlotte and Emma match, when Gabriel went for the double underhook and Kenta started to there I am, and Itami started to try to weasel his way out. They did a full turn, and it was like, dodge, nope, all right, fine, all right, just do it, and then we'll try again later. But it all seemed so natural, whereas when he went to do the double underhook again, it was, this worked on him last time, it'll work again, as opposed to, oh, we messed that up, let's try to do it. It was they were both confident. They were like, let's try to get this thing done, and then Kenta went on the attack. There I am again with the kicks.
Hideo
Itami went on the attack with the kicks.
See, I think Itami blocking the butterfly suplex was just him staying fresh. He wasn't completely out of it. He just taken a move, or taken a maneuver, a cutoff off the ropes, and landed him on the back of his head. He was down. He was not out. He was just trying to get some momentum going to get out of the butterfly. But Gabriel muscled him up.
Itami ended up winning this match, and immediately following that, the Ascension comes out. You guys remember last week when they came out and asked Regal for their rematch, and then got into it with Itami. I almost said Kenta.
Take your time.
It's hard.
Select your
but yeah, the Ascension comes out and attacks.
Finishes what they started last week.
Brutally.
Where is this going?
I don't know.
Somebody said in the chat that Itami interferes with the tag match next week and cost them the championships again. But we are wondering if there's going to be a second person on Itami's side, or if right now it's just going to be the might of the legend of Kenta, now Hideo Itami, against two of the longest reigning tag team, two of the big dudes of NXT. But then it just makes you wonder, what does that do for the Ascension?
It doesn't do a hell of a lot. I think my theory, be it right or wrong, was that they may bring in Funaki. Making it known that he's down there, it makes him ready and available as a tag team partner for Itami. Maybe he could come in, and suddenly we're having an even off between the most dominant tag team in NXT and a veteran of WWE with an incoming superstar.
Newbie.
Yeah. Would you guys be excited for that, or?
I totally.
Dude, Funaki is way
amazing.
Underrated.
You wouldn't rather see Itami by himself for a little bit?
No,
that's what I was thinking as a rebuttal.
But I don't want to see him kill the Ascension. I like the Ascension's momentum. Or rather, I like them, and I'd rather them keep their momentum, possibly go into the main roster, rather than lose momentum, but still go to the main roster.
Yeah. Let's talk about the next match, CJ Parker versus Baron Corbin.
Oh, sorry, I blinked.
Same situation as at TakeOver 2. Baron just looks so tough again. Annihilates CJ Parker, with the swinging face plant.
What do they call it?
Yeah.
End of days.
End of days.
End of dazed and confused.
Baron wins again.
For the win. I mean, I hope.
FTW.
Hopefully, this is going to be one of those things, not like Mojo, where we actually get to see. Like, this is a different type of intensity because you believe it 100%. It's a straight shot to the mouth, and then I'm going to drop you on the front of your head.
Short, right? Just bam.
CJ looks like a rag doll whenever he takes it.
And the hair helps.
Yeah.
The hair just super helps itself.
Hair is great.
But it's
yeah.
Can you do that, Mark?
I hate you both so much. I got a haircut.
I'm dizzy.
That sounds
You
about
can borrow
right.
some of mine.
Ooh. No.
Oh, God. Oh, there's something growing. I feel something moving.
I call them my friends. They're my friends. They live in my hair.
Yeah.
And I'm suing. But this, I hope that we get a little bit. Now we start building back towards give him a little bit more of a match, and it's not just CJ Parker, where we give him people that slowly start to really just have to push him more so that we see more from him. Because like I was saying last week, with CJ being the environmentalist and Baron being a gas-guzzling biker type, they could go for a long time. But after the second solid squash, what chance does CJ have?
Yeah.
CJ's got to get mean. He's got to get mean. I mean, Corbin looks like he's a dude who can handle anything. Being a biker, an insinuated biker. Nobody's actually called him that.
A lone wolf.
A lone wolf, yes. And the biker noises at the beginning of his music and his intro. His video.
The road.
Although he doesn't ride a bike to the ring, does he? No.
You can't fit one on the back of Full Sail.
How do we know? We haven't even tried.
Yeah, that's true. You could be the first one.
In any case, it's all sort of implied, but basically it's assumed that this guy can handle himself. So I'd like to see CJ Parker turn it up. I'd like to see him bring a bit of wood to the ring and beat Corbin with it. I want to see something to make you either like Corbin more or hate Corbin more. Right now it's sort of ambiguous. He is ambiguous. He's just sort of big, and granted he's beating up somebody that nobody likes, which makes him likable. But it's easily one of those things, if you put him in there with Sami Zayn, nobody would like Baron Corbin. See, I don't like ambiguity. I like things to be very, very clear cut.
Straightforward.
Right.
And I think we will see that in the coming weeks.
Hope so.
Two guys that are very likable, Colin Cassidy and Enzo Amore.
How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
Another phone video.
Thank goodness.
This time they're at the Performance Center working out in the workout room. And our very own former AfterBuzzer Ryan Katz.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I just saw a very smiley individual enter the room.
Got a lemony fresh individual.
He brings in the very gorgeous Carmella.
Hey Enzo, your sister's here. My sister, what?
And she says she was fired thanks to them, and now she wants to wrestle. She wants to fight.
I'm tough. I had 5 brothers, and I'm tougher than all of them.
She tried to break Enzo's ribs, so yeah, maybe she can play.
Yeah.
How you doing?
These just seem so natural. It seems real, and it's hilarious at the same time.
I mean, it's what we wanted, and it's what we were hoping for and expecting. So it's all of that together where it's like, this is great, I want more. They're giving us more, and they're doing what we thought they would be.
It's so well
it gives
done,
them depth. It makes them real. These are real people. These aren't just characters, you know, a facade. This is real now because you put them in real world situations and it makes them real.
You get that cell phone video, it feels like a vlog, you know, it feels like you're watching just somebody, like, this is a slice of life, and you get to see them outside of the ring, like an actual event in their lives, and it's beyond entertaining.
Yes.
It's great. It's magic. You can't teach that.
How do you think Carmella will fare if she begins fighting?
What did somebody say? She's already been featured on house shows, accompanying them to the ring. Yeah. I think she'll do fine. I just wonder how they're going to do it. I'd rather see her as a valet
for a little bit.
Yeah, than actually mixing it up, because I don't think I don't see her really mixing it up in the women's division at all. I don't see her being a challenge necessarily at this point because she's so new.
I just love their bickering.
It's fantastic.
I could listen to that all day.
The character of it is very entertaining, and I'm again, like, I could watch that all day too. But I figure she'll be more of a scrapper, like a total Jersey, just like, what'd you say about my hair? And then just totally just take them out. A lot of beating the head down to the ground, a lot of hair pulling.
A lot of mob wife type antics.
Yeah.
Flipping tables. Yeah.
She'll be bickering with them, but then the second that someone else like says something bad about them, she'll be like, you did not talk about them.
What do you, did you talk to them? Did you ask me if you could talk to them? I don't think you, come here. Like, just like
very
that.
protective, but
like, sort of like a sister. I wanted to bring up in the chat, there's somebody was saying that they should give Baron Corbin a biker stable, and they were thinking of the name Eights and Aces.
Why not? Sure, that's not being used.
That's a TNA joke. I'm sorry.
Never mind.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. It was something that was really cool and then really stupid.
It was great. It was super awesome. Got really old really quick. Sounds familiar.
So the main event tonight.
Let's do it, please. Let's talk about it. Oh, well, no, they announced that the Ascension and the Lucha Dragons are going to be next week for the title.
True. They did do that. You excited? Yeah. Yeah.
See what happens.
So the main event tonight, Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville versus Titus and Tyson Kidd. Pretty much Sami getting a beat down the majority of the match. The crowd started laughing at one point. Did you notice that? Like, they broke out into laughter, and I really want to know what the joke was.
I wonder if it was, if it was the way that Titus just kind of pulled Sami back into the corner, because it seemed like right after a moment like that, but it might have been something that somebody in the crowd said. It could easily be that, because they are very,
I'm sure it was,
very vocal,
very boisterous,
except for when Neville came out.
Yeah,
so just like, there were a couple of people booing, like a very small amount,
because they don't know how to react to him.
Yeah, like, what are your
everyone's
intentions?
So behind Sami Zayn that you even like accidentally trip him, you are done.
There was nothing accidental about the actions of Adrian Neville.
I know.
Yeah, there's a lot, the forced tagging,
one-upsmanship.
Yeah,
using Tyson Kidd as a surrogate for the anger between the two of them.
Maybe he's just jealous that even though he's the champ, Zayn's getting more attention.
The crowd was chanting, "Sami is better." Sarah, Sammy's is better. When he did the standing moonsault.
Standing moonsault followed by a standing corkscrew moonsault. These guys are going at it without going at it.
There was also a chant, I believe, in the top segment when everyone was coming out. People were chanting, "We want Breeze."
Yeah,
I thought that he was going to come out at some point, but
I mean, give him the night off. The man worked very hard the night before. He deserves it.
Yeah.
It did.
He'll probably open the show next week since he wasn't in the first block.
I mean, he's probably having somebody lick his wounds. So.
Yeah.
One of his puppies or cats, or like he likes.
Or the women. The women he's surrounded by.
No, they're all too uggo.
I was trying to make it adorable, but you turned it, made it gross.
I'm making it real.
All right.
You don't let a dog lick you? Even Howard the Duck doesn't condone that.
Very good.
So Sami Zayn finally makes the tag towards the end of the match.
Like an actual tag.
So, like, just gets so fast from there. Neville just all over the ring. Covers Tyson Kidd, but then Titus breaks it up. Sami then pushes Titus out of the ring. Neville goes in for the red arrow, but Tyson Kidd puts his knees up, and Tyson covers Neville for the win.
Yeah, you know, it's dysfunction and function at the same time. Now, what I said about Titus O'Neil at the top of the show, about him not being believable as someone to be disliked, that totally gets turned around when you look at his ring work. This guy, when he wrestles, he looks like he does not care about anybody. He'll break a man's back and just drop him like a sack of potatoes. He just does not care. His ring work speaks way more than his mouth.
No, definitely. It's a huge. It's a really big, giant style, like when he was doing the side breakers and then just threw him off, like, get this guy off of me. I know I picked him up, but he should not be touching me.
Stepping on Zayn's head, it's just, he's he's forceful. In that ring, at one point he was using his entire body to just beat up Zayn. It was headbutts. It was his entire body in that corner. He's oh man, he's full contact. He's a full contact type of wrestler.
Very much so. And there is a way that I feel you could adjust that to be a face style, but I mean it works too well being a bad guy.
I almost think that because of the quality with which Tyson Kidd and O'Neal work together tonight, that they could become a tag team.
Despite O'Neal already having a tag team right now.
Sort of. I mean, it's not. It's not the hottest tag team. Let's face it. People like it, but it's not the hottest tag team in the world.
Well, it's kind of a gateway to possibly the return of Darren Young, as the rumors are circulating online about the identity of the bunny, and that would kind of help serve its purpose. Like, okay, we brought it back, and then we do a tag team thing with Darren Young. Because how long can Darren Young be just a rosebud? You know?
Right.
Yeah, like Captain Comic worked out, but yeah.
Womp womp.
I mean, I would still love to see more Captain Comic, but I think after the reintroduction of Darren Young, that'll kind of reignite their feud, or maybe like, dude, I'm sorry, and then you have Heath Slater upset. And Adam Rose just like, cool, whatever, let's just party, because he's a.
Can you do that again?
No, I can't. I'm drained.
Thankfully, we have a rewind button.
Yay! Make a gif of it.
Oh, sure, yeah, do that. Actually, that was very entertaining when they made gifs of us last time. There are a lot of things that they can do with Titus. When they broke him up with Darren Young, I felt it was way too soon, because he can make it as a singles guy. People just need to make room for him to be there.
Yeah. Because
as much as he would love to big boot his way through, sorry, am I boring you? As much as people would like
sorry.
No yawning.
Hashtag yawn. As much as I would love to see him just boot his way into the main event picture, I don't think they'll let him up there so fast. I would like to see him and Rusev. I would like to see him and Sheamus, him and Cesaro, because he has him and Sheamus would probably clash because they have a similar type of style. But I think him and Cesaro,
that'd be hard hitting.
Yeah, it would be just gross bar fight-esque. And like when Titus was the first thing to come out, it's like, who else would you expect than Titus O'Neal? Actually, I would have expected some other people. And then
just about any damn buddy, really.
But then he got into the ring, and you're like, yeah, he's really good. Why don't they use him more on like top stuff? Why isn't Raw his show? Why doesn't he tell everybody else that he's on main event and Superstars for their benefit, like he did tonight, being at NXT for everybody to come and see him? It was a lot of really strong promo work and a lot of really strong ring work that would work on any basis in any show.
I mean, I think that's why it's beneficial for some of these guys on the main roster to come down to NXT, because they get to showcase, you know, something that they might not have enough time to do on the main roster shows.
Like Brodus Clay. Right.
Oh. Speaking of TNA.
Tyson Kidd, Justin Gabriel.
No, very much so.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
No, I was just making the joke.
I know.
Yeah, Brodus Clay just
got a lot of jokes.
I do. I'm the funny man.
Somebody doesn't think you're funny. I think it's scary.
I think it's the entire internet.
But yeah, it was good to see him down there.
Very much. Yeah.
It was. I wonder if we'll see more of him. Yeah, you never know. Anybody can show up in NXT. I think it's one of the benefits of the show, just the sort of the air they have.
You never know what's going to happen.
You never know who's going to show up.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Like maybe he'll be part of the main events for this like segment of tapes where he'll have the one-on-one with Sammy, he'll have the one-on-one with Neville.
I'd really like to see that.
Yeah,
I really would. I think he's a great base to work off of for these guys. He's just so strong. His style is so strong in Smash Mouth.
And like we said, it just brings more eyes and ears to NXT, because when you have a guy from the main roster come down and put over these guys at NXT.
Well, also the rumor is that there is going to be more NXT showings on the main roster shows as a promotional tool.
That's a good idea.
I would love to see some more Sami Zayn Cesaro stuff, but that's just me.
That would be cool. But
well, the
they
entire
probably
world wants that.
I wonder if it would be more like what they did to promote TakeOver, where it's an NXT match on Raw, or if it is Adrian Neville as the NXT champion against somebody on the main roster. Even if they do as far as the main roster knows, or the people who only watch the main roster shows know, Tyson Kidd is a main roster player, so you could even still have him on and have him seem like it, but we've been watching the match for like those two have a match for like the past couple of months.
Yeah.
Right. It's just crossing over the ongoing feud in NXT onto the regular television show, bringing in the eyes of said viewers that aren't necessarily viewers of NXT or purchasers of the network. This is actually somebody commented on our YouTube video last week saying that they literally bought the network for the express purpose of seeing TakeOver 2, and that it was 100% worth all of the money that they spent. So I think that is one story that we are going to continue to see. The more people watch NXT, the more satisfied they're going to be overall.
Yeah.
Because it's the best show on the network, because they're not trying to sell the network.
Right. If you're tired of hearing about stuff on the network, just buy the network and you won't have to hear about it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's NXT's. It's too good. You all know. Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Tell your wife. Tell your
friend's
kids.
wife.
Tell your dentist wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's how much? That's a real good deal.
Mm.
If those of you are listening to us on iTunes, you should probably watch the YouTube video.
To see Hobo's lack of teeth.
And also to GIF that.
Okay, that's enough. This is a great episode to recap of NXT. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please leave us your comments and thoughts in the comments on our YouTube video. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Let us know what you think of our show. Tell a friend. Do all that stuff.
And Dennis' wife.
And where can they find you guys in the meantime?
You can find me on Twitter, at your hobo. My blood sugar really hit a low here. ProWrestlingTees.com/hobo. Buy a shirt so I can buy some food.
Get
popcorn.
Yeah, buy a shirt. Pockets. Buy a shirt from ProWrestlingTees.com/hobo so he can buy me a beer because he owes me one. You can also follow the two of us on Facebook at SoapboxCarTV, the both of us on YouTube at SoapboxCarTV. You can find out how my finger got messed up.
Street Fighter 4 is a hell of a game.
Let's not talk about it and just try to live our lives in the present tense.
Sure.
And you could also follow me on Twitter at SoapboxMark. What about you, Kathy Kelly?
You can find me on Twitter at Catherine Kelly, on Instagram at Kathy Kelly. You can find me guesting on the Wrestling Compadres.
That's right.
Slamcast.
What am I going to
this week? Ask Johnny LaQuasta on but yeah, that was super fun this week. We talked about TakeOver and a bunch of other cool things. You can find all of us here at AfterBuzz TV on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching this week. We will see you again next Thursday.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.